Oh my god, what am I doing? Hey guys, I meant to make this video before the month of February ended, but that did not happen. I first of all want to talk about YouTube censorship, and then I'm probably going to get a little bit into other topics, and you can expect more videos from me soon because I have to catch up pretty much. So the first thing I want to talk about is YouTube and Twitter and their recent shenanigans in terms of censoring people. This has been going on for I think almost 2 years now, but they seem to be really cracking down. Actually, the YouTube CEO released an update that I saw when I signed in to YouTube recently that was basically saying what their plans were for 2018, which included being more serious about the kinds of content that is out there, because a reggaeton video, meaning Despacito, can get so many views, but so can extremist content that they're trying to crack down on. They have been working with third parties such as the Anti-Defamation League and the Suicide Prevention Hotline. I don't know who those other third parties are, who knows what their beliefs are and what their agenda is, because the truth is, if you're working with a third party, that means that your goals are somehow trying to line up with their goals, so you have the same mission. I'm not sure if that's what YouTube is really supposed to be about, but that's the path that they're deciding to go down, and that is their decision. They're also trying to expand their YouTube Red service, which I hope utterly fails. As much as Google has helped me over the years, I remember when, they came out with maps. I know it wasn't just them, but that was a pretty big deal. Or their email service. They really were good in lots of ways. But now that they're trying to turn themselves into a social justice company, I am not so much a fan anymore, and that doesn't discredit all the things that they've done, but a lot of companies are going down this path, and I'm not a fan, and I think I will speak out a lot. I have been pretty affected by what they're doing, and they've been demonetizing lots of channels. In that update that the CEO sent out, she mentioned that it's horrible that the word demonetize has become such a known word to a lot of people, but I don't think they're very sorry at all. They are also planning to have a lot more human flaggers in their system from what I read, and we all know what's going to happen. It's basically just going to be that certain people with a certain viewpoint get to decide which viewpoints are popular on a platform, and it might not just be that your channel is deleted. By the way, that has been happening a lot. There have been a lot of channels that have gone down. I don't know all of them because they're being flagged by people, and I can expect that to continue. And the problem with what they're doing isn't really that they want to have standards, is that they don't apply them objectively. It's just based on the person who decides what to do or what the hot topic of the day is. So I guess their bots are searching or crawling for certain words, and they find them, and that it's not discriminatory enough. But then when the humans go and look at it, then all their biases come in, and you can't run a platform that way when you're basically in the middle of ideological warfare. And the funny thing is, there was this video going around recently of somebody at Facebook. I can't remember his name. I'll probably put a link or something. And he was talking about how much social media is interfering with the fabric of society. And I totally agree. And what they're doing, as I've said before, and I'm sure many YouTube commenters are saying, is basically helping to polarize society some more. I know that they really think they're trying to make the world a better place, but it is often people who are trying to make the world a better place that are really starting to commit tyranny. It's the beginning, because they're imposing their will on others. Of course, this is YouTube. It's a private company. They can do what they want. And again, the issue is that it's arbitrary. Not that they have standards, but that is not applied equally. From they started doing this, it was clear that there was some content that was supposedly controversial, and that's why, for example, they couldn't run ads on them. But then everybody discovered pretty quickly that that's not actually what was going on. It was just that only certain approved opinions could be stated. So it wasn't the topic itself, it was who was talking about the topic and also what they were saying. So they can continue with that. I will push back, and I'm sure people would like to stick on YouTube because YouTube has been good in a lot of ways. Sorry, my chair is squeaking. But I also kind of like that they're doing this, because I hope that there are other solutions that come up. I myself, I'm already on Minds and BitChute, and I'm on Gab. I don't use it really. I pretty much never posted on there except for the first day. And I'm on Steemit, and I plan to post videos on DTube. I prefer a blockchain solution to what's going on and decentralization. That comes with a whole host of other issues, like how do you regulate things, because you're still going to have some form of regulation. It's just not going to be top down. That has its own set of issues, but I think that's to be the best path forward, and I'm really rooting for that. And there's also stuff going on Twitter, not just YouTube, especially with all the controversy over shooting and gun control and people who were speaking about those topics. And I think Andy Worski was talking about not being able to stream anymore because he got a strike for content that he had uploaded months ago, a long time ago. And Bombard's body language. A lot of you people, if you're watching my kind of content, you probably know this already. But there are specific people, and remember way back when, I think it was some very, very extreme content like American Renaissance, their channel was taken down. Excuse me, I must clarify that it was their video that was taken down, not their channel. Interestingly, though, their Twitter account has recently been banned for similar reasons due to the kind of content that they produce and the arguments that they posit. I also began to talk about YouTube after mentioning Twitter. What I'm saying does apply to both platforms. There has been a recent crackdown for both. And I remember Lauren Southern was going on about how this is going to be you, and I think she's absolutely right. Like, it starts off with the more like fringe elements in terms of what normal people in society are comfortable hearing and discussing, and then it's going to filter down to everybody else. And like I said, I kind of hope it accelerates. It's awful. I really think it's bad. I wish it would not go that way, but I just don't see it going that way. They are being pretty upfront about it. At the same time, they're being shady because they're not making it obvious. Well, they are, but they're not explicitly stating that they are playing favorites, even though that's what they're doing. But at the same time, they are showing us what their plans are. So I don't see that changing. They have a mission and they're going to complete it. And those third parties, they have to be aligned with their mission or they would not be working with them. And we know where this whole concept of social justice is going to go. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, by the way, I'm having mic issues. That's why I'm wearing these. I just wanted to make a video anyway. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was a couple weeks ago. I can't remember the exact date. I was on Twitter. I just went on Twitter. Bad idea. It was like not first thing in the morning, but first like serious thing I was doing on my phone. And I saw a tweet from, I think it was YouTube creators that said, roses are red, violets are blue, subscribe to Black creators. And I kind of freaked out. I got really upset. And I got upset that I was upset. I was upset that they were trivializing Black History Month. I'm also just not a fan of Black History Month, which I will get into in a second. And that they were making it seem as if subscribing to Black creators had something to do with the Black History Month. History being the key word there, instead of talking about things that had happened in the past. And then a lot of people were saying, why would you focus on Black creators today? Because of the color of their skin, because that's what you're doing. And I know some people will be like, well, no, they're just promoting these people. But I'm more on the side of the people who are saying, why are you focusing just on that and not on maybe the content they're producing or how it's relevant to Black history? Actually, that would be cool if they were actually talking about Black history, not just because they were creating content, so you should give them support because it's Black History Month. That's giving the idea that their content is only relevant because it's Black history. What other times are you focusing on their content, and what's the criteria? It's just the color of their skin. And then my biggest pet peeve, which people in America will not really get, but I will say it anyway just so you have a different perspective, is that whenever they talk about Black history, they generally mean American history. They will try to extrapolate it to the rest of the world, but it's always through the lens of US slavery and oppression, etc., and them fighting to overcome that. Still to this present day, in their mind, it's always that, and that really upsets me. It's also trivializing the struggle, like the real struggle that Black people did go through, I think, by turning it into just subscribe to Black creators. It's not just that some people want to celebrate their culture and history. I think that's fine if people want to hold on to their identity in that way. That's not really something that I favor. I think that that bond is not any more or even any less as the bond of, say, your nation. I think it's kind of artificial. because within the Black race there are different identities, different tribes, and different cultures. So just calling it like this thing that you can latch onto, I don't really agree with. But that's not really the issue. The issue is that you're, in my view, continuing. It's a continuation of the history of race relations in the United States that were bad. It's going on with that separation mindset. And it's through the government, or it's on the nationwide level, or the people who are supposed to be representing everybody. So if you're going to have it for one group, I know people who are fans of Black History Month probably are tired of hearing it, but I really believe that if you have it for one group, you have to have it for everybody else. It's promoting a parallel society, which is how things were, that they had to be distinct and separate from the rest of the country. And it's keeping that idea alive and well. In efforts to heal, it's not going to work. But anyway, I actually forgot about all of this because then a couple weeks went by. And then just yesterday, I just logged into YouTube to get myself prepared to make a video and see what was going on. And then, you know, YouTube's home button was like create Black history or something about Black history. And it's really easy to click on it. Like you can be trying to not click on it, but just go to YouTube home and you click on it. And then I encountered their video, which was, I actually didn't, I didn't even watch the video. I was just so annoyed at them even having this video in the first place. And I was very, very, very satisfied with the like to dislike ratio. I looked at it recently. I think it was 8,000 before making this video. 8,000 to 35,000. There were lots of people in the comments saying that they had botched their the dislike to like ratio by making it seem like there were less dislikes, even though it was already pretty bad. But I can't verify that that's true. But people were saying that, and I really would not be surprised. I was just going on about censorship. I do believe that they mess with that stuff. And I personally think that my channel was not being recommended as much as before. And I don't know if I've said this on here before. I think I have, that I was experiencing very steady growth. You know, like even my older videos were still being watched for etc. And then that kind of just died down. However, that may have been something that happened to other channels as well. I'm not sure, because I really only follow the kind of content of people who are not all conservative, but most of the people on the right, other people too, and they all did seem to have a die down. So I'm not really sure, because I can't compare it to other channels, but I think something's definitely going on. So that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I am not going to talk about Black Panther, not really, because I actually enjoy watching anything that's like sci-fi, fantasy, adventure, and I would like to enjoy it for its own sake. I'm not going to watch it for a while because I know I'm going to go there and be analyzing the entire thing, and that's going to happen anyway, but I just want to watch it on my own time. In terms of politics, I hate that they're making it about politics. I hate that they're ignoring all the history of Black people in film before, because they have been there and audiences have enjoyed them if they were playing a relatable character regardless of their skin color. And of course, I think they just shouldn't make these things about skin color, but they might not do that for a very long time. I think that people should be able to relate with characters on their own without referencing the politics of today. And this segues into my next topic. I was having a conversation with Brian of Brian, because I pronounce A's and O's funnily, of Honey Badger Radio, and he was saying that he thinks the best stories are those in which the development of the character and the things they go through transcends identities like that. It's like universal struggle. And so the last thing I want to say is that I had a fireside chat recently with Brian of Honey Badger Radio, and maybe you guys should go check it out. I was thinking of making a separate video just saying that I did an interview, because I've done that before. I'm not sure what you guys feel about that, how you guys feel about that. It would actually be interesting to know if you think that's necessary, because other YouTubers don't really seem to do it, but I feel like when I make content, I should let you guys know that I make it. We discussed men's rights a lot and talked about feminism. I don't really speak about that much on my channel, so you guys might find it interesting to hear some of my views on that. He also kind of convinced me to go and watch the Red Pill movie, and then if I do that, I will probably make a video about it. There's one more thing I wanted to say. I have been spending a bit too much time on Twitter, And I got so pissed off. I made 3 super long tweets, which I don't do very often, in response to this guy from the New York Times. I'm going to try and find my tweet. I believe he's a writer there. Okay, so this guy named Wajahat Ali, excuse me, he's not a writer, he is an op-ed writer, so just giving his opinions, but I only see certain kinds of writings in the New York Times. Anyway, so he made this tweet that said, Dinesh D'Souza and Ajit Pai, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, is what happens when brown boys give in to the dark side. Hassan Minhaj and Riz Ahmed is what happens when they follow the force. Brown parents, be vigilant. And then I just wrote a bunch of tweets saying that I can't stand this about identity politics because this is expecting people to conform to a certain worldview because of their skin color or culture in this case maybe, but it's the same thing. It's basically being locked into a box on an identity based on an outsider's perspective. The point was that this is acceptable. This guy, him saying this is acceptable from the people who claim to be all about fighting racism. And that's what I can't stand, the hypocrisy of it. You guys already know this. I'm just updating you with these things that sort of stirred the fire in my belly while I was gone. I think I said everything that kind of upset me. It's like censorship with the media, and then identity politics stuff. So I think that's all I have to say for now. I'm planning to make a video really soon about 2 other things. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.